If you find it hard to feel good, switch off and relax without booze, drugs, sex, entertainment, junk food, whatever it is, if you find it hard to feel good without that stuff, then this video is hopefully going to be of value to you. I had trouble with cannabis and alcohol from quite a young age. I started smoking cigarettes when I was about 11. First time I ever tried a cigarette, and started smoking that regularly. And I remember the first time I tried it, I didn't even enjoy it. I didn't even like it. It was more like a social thing with the smoking the cigarettes. And then obviously you get addicted. But then that led me on to like trying cannabis. When I was about 13, I tried cannabis for the first time. And all I remember is that it was just a relief. I remember I just had like a constant state of anxiety when I was younger. I was just in a constant state of fear all the time. And I wasn't even aware of it until I tried cannabis, because then that alleviated it for me. That allowed me to, I just felt good, you know? So obviously that just made me want to do it every day. So from the age of like 13 to 16, I smoked cannabis every single day. I didn't even finish school. I left school at about the age of 15, I think I was. But I just completely checked out. I just didn't care. I just didn't care at all. I just knew that cannabis made me feel good. And then obviously I got kind of like addicted to, that was the only way I knew to feel good when I was younger. And then 16, I realized that it was a problem and I was just becoming like a vegetable. And I got thrown out of my mum's house when I was 16 for selling drugs, for selling cannabis and other stuff as well. And then at that point I was like, right, I need to knock it all on the head. So I knocked it all on the head, and then I started to get more into like drinking alcohol and stuff. And long story short, I had problems with alcohol for a very long time. And it's not until I started to have my daughters, and even then, even when my daughters were young, I was still drinking very regularly. That was still a vice for me. And I would often tell myself that that was kind of like my release. That was my only way to feel good. That was the lowest kind of like resistance way to feel good. I had going to the gym and training, and then I had drinking. Okay, so I would often at the end of the day tell myself like, right, I'm going to have a few drinks. And obviously often I would drink way more than I planned to. And then that would knock on to the next day, and I'd feel like shit the next day, and it would affect my sleep. And then, you know, you just get caught in these like vicious cycles, and you don't tend to make a shift or a change until something really bad happens, or, you know, you have a big fallout, or you do something stupid. So that's kind of like the ruts that I was in. And it's only been over the recent years, like the recent 4 or 5 years, where I've really kind of like started to understand why I had those addictions and those habits. And I've actually managed to break them, because I tried so hard. I tried so many times to like stop drinking. I tried so many times to stop smoking, and I just felt myself just kept getting pulled back into it. And I think it's, as I said, it was the lowest resistance way for me to feel good, because I didn't have any knowledge or any education on like emotional intelligence and, you know, my thoughts and consciousness and all that sort of stuff, which really, when delving into all that stuff, that's what really helped me to kind of let go of those vices. So I just wanted to do this little video just to hopefully, I don't even know, maybe even inspire some people that may be struggling with some of this stuff now, to know that it is possible you can feel good, you know, long term without it. You can live life without those vices. And this goes for food, this goes for, you know, entertainment, porn, all that sort of stuff. It's all a similar sort of thing. You're using it as advice. You're using it as a way to feel good. Yeah? Because you don't believe that you can naturally feel good without anything externally. And this is like a massive shift that I had. And that was through like really practicing meditation consistently, to realize that, oh, my natural state is feeling good. You know, it's when your attention and your focus are on thoughts or things that pull you out of that, if that makes sense. So when everything quietens down and your thoughts subside, and at that point you actually emanate your natural kind of like state is one of peace and tranquility and love, contentment. That is your natural state. And by focusing on things that aren't wanted, that's what kind of pulls you out of that. So it's kind of like just a bit of a paradigm shift, to realize that it's not the anxiety, the fear, the depression, or whatever it might be. That's not something that you are and then you have to find ways to stimulate, like to put something in you to change that chemistry. Does that make sense? Just a bit of a shift. Like, your natural state is one of feeling good. So if you're not feeling good, it's because you're focused on something that your higher mind doesn't agree with. Yeah, your inner being, if you want to call it. So, and this doesn't have to be all spiritual and all woo-woo stuff. Your mind is the most powerful supercomputer in the world. So your mind is considering so many variables that unconsciously that you're not considering consciously. It's computing things that you're not aware that it's computing. So when you get an intuition to say, right, stop focusing on that thing, it's because your unconscious mind, the most powerful supercomputer in between your ears, it has calculated all the variables from the experiences you've had in the world and telling you that it's useless or pointless to focus on the thing that you're focusing on. That's why it's like giving you bad energy. Your emotions are like a guidance system, yeah, to say stop focusing on that thing. Okay, so I know I'm spilling out loads of stuff in this video, but I hope it gives you a little bit of a paradigm shift to realize that when we try to use external substances or external sources to feel good, we're not understanding our organism and how our body works, how to operate our organism, our body, the human body. It's not something's wrong internally and we need to sort that out externally and put something in us. It's internally, we need to turn our attention internally and get in touch with our systems, our human systems, our body, our mind, our heart, our energy. Okay, and stop running away from stuff. Often stuff in our mind, yeah, stuff in our mind, it's fear of stuff. It's fear of not being accepted. It's fear of being judged. It's feeling guilty for feeling certain ways about things. And that's what we need to confront. We need to go inwardly into our mind and start confronting this stuff, okay? Think about it this way. So if you find yourself getting to the end of the day and you feel like you need something to be able to switch off, you need a couple of beers, you need a glass of wine, you need to sit and veg out in front of the telly for a few hours. If that's you, if you feel like you need that, it's often because, use this analogy, imagine you've got a bowl of marbles. This is a very common analogy to use. You've got a bowl of marbles and they represent your attention, okay? Now, oftentimes we're giving these marbles to different subjects in our life, different problems in our life, different people in our life, and they're taking some of our attention up, and unresolved issues, you know, decisions that we've been putting off that we should be making but we haven't made. We're giving all of that, you know, to all these different resources, and we're left with such little amount that our energy is just being zapped. It's being drained by all these things, all these tabs that we have open in our mind that we haven't closed off. And when you get to the end of the day, it feels like the lowest resistance way to do it is to have a drink or something, or just engross yourself in some sort of entertainment to be able to close all them tabs temporarily. But the problem is they just spring up again tomorrow morning if you don't resolve them properly and you don't properly close them down. So all this stuff is draining. It literally zaps your energy. You've got, for instance, chess masters. I can't remember the exact amount of calories they burn, but it's something like 7,000 to 10,000 calories a day they burn when they're doing competitions, when they're doing like proper tournaments. I can't even say it. When they're doing tournaments, chess masters, they burn so many calories because it's so exhaustive. It uses so much energy to focus and have all these things in your mind. Thinking uses energy. We don't realize that. It zaps energy. It drains you. It zaps you. Okay, so imagine how much more potential energy you're going to have to focus on things that you want your energy to go on if you close all these tabs off. This is so important. This is so important. You want to learn how to close these tabs off and get that attention back, get them marbles back into the bowl of attention. So you've got them now to put in and flow into what you want to flow them into. It's so important to figure out how to do that. And not just numb yourself at the end of the day to temporarily solve the problem. Because long term, it doesn't solve the problem. In fact, it usually makes it worse. Because then obviously it affects your sleep, you know, and then you perpetuate the problem because you wake up the next day feeling like crap and blah, 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 okay? So this is really important to think about, really, really important to deal with head on. And usually the best thing to do is to have a dialogue with another person. I've found to sit and actually speak about this stuff with another person, to share ideas, especially if you're in a relationship. The way that I think, I'm not in a relationship, but my way of approaching a relationship, if I was in one, would be to share all of my thoughts, whether I feel that they're good or bad, and whether this is actually going to be something that I would practice in a relationship and something that I would, struggle with, I don't know. But I try to do that all the time with, even with my kids, my daughters and stuff. If I'm thinking and feeling a certain way about something, I try to, in the best way possible, speak about it. Speak about the thoughts and feelings I'm having and encourage them to do the same thing. Because oftentimes you get problems in relationships because there's things that you're holding back. Yeah, there's opinions that you have, there's ideas that you have, there's judgments that you have that you're holding back and you're not sharing with the other person. This can go with any relationship, with family members, with kids, with partners. And that sort of stuff, when you don't have a dialogue, sometimes just bringing it up and just talking about it then it gives the other person a green light to be able to talk about their stuff and open up about the stuff that they've been holding back, because this stuff turns into resentments, turns into problems, turns into stress, and it's these tabs that you need to close off. So if there's a conversation you need to have with someone that's been on your mind, speak to that person about it. It might be uncomfortable short term, yeah, it might be stressful short term for you, but usually it's like the analogy of like the monster under the bed. You think there's a monster there, you're so frightened, and as soon as you look, there's nothing there. There's actually nothing there. There's nothing to be worried about. And that you feel that pressure release. Okay? So I'm saying I'm using like other people because often these tabs are related to other people. Yeah, these tabs are often related to relationships that we have in our life and dealing with other people and conversations that we need to have and things that we need to say. Or maybe there's people that we need to limit in our life, which is down to a conversation. Say, look, I'm working on this at the minute. I don't feel that we've got a good dynamic, or whatever you need to do. I think you intuitively know straight away if there is some things that you need to there's some tabs you need to close off. You intuitively know what they are. So this video, I'm calling you out to just suggest that today, don't put things off. Don't get into the habit of put things off. Yeah, don't be that, I'm going to do it next Monday, next month. Tomorrow never comes, okay? I'm going to encourage you to do this stuff today. So think about one tab that you need to close off today and deal with it today and do it today. Make the decisions that you've been putting off making. Have the conversations that you've been putting off having, and you will feel better for it. Okay? And then over time, over weeks, over months, it may even be just today, maybe even just making a few decisions today, a few conversations today, and you feel a massive weight and you sleep better than you have in a long time. But usually it's a few weeks, a few months before you start really seeing the fruits of the seeds you're planting now, yeah, the actions you're taking now. So keep that in mind. Do the things that you know you should be doing every single day, and over time you'll start seeing the dividends come back to you. You'll start to see the benefit of that, the fruits of your labor. Okay? So I know I've gone on a bit of a rant today. I hope this has been useful for you, and I hope you got value from it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.